Plaintiffs Verlash Jones and her husband Otis say the defendant was married to their daughter. And although they're no longer together, Verlash still says the defendant is a great father. Verlash claims after a family dinner one night, the defendant was arrested for drunk driving, so she bailed him out, but she has yet to be repaid. Defendant Kevin Russell says he was always very respectful to Verlash and her family, despite the fact that Verlash was a stereotypical meddling mother-in-law. Kevin says the night of the incident, he was with a family member who was extremely intoxicated. And Kevin insists he was only pulled over after the family member started throwing up in his car.
Prove your case.
First, hello, Judge. I would like to say that my grandson made it clear to me this morning that I needed to say hello to you or I couldn't come home. So, hello from my oldest
on your
grandson.
grandson's behalf?
Yes.
How old is he?
He's 14, he'll be 15,
Okay.
and he's a very good student, and he's a very well-mannered young man.
Good. He
Yes.
must have been watching Judge Mathis.
I think so. I think so. I'd also like to say that my husband and I have a blended family of 8 children, and we have 16 grandchildren. 8 of those grandchildren are males.
Lucky. All
We
right.
are. We feel extremely blessed.
Okay.
Every time a child moves, we knock a wall out. And that kind of encourages them to stay gone a little bit.
That's right.
As far as this case is concerned, Kevin is my daughter's ex-husband. And Kevin has never, ever been a negative person as far as I'm concerned. He is an absolutely, absolutely wonderful father. When he married my daughter, they blended a family of 7 children, all boys. All boys.
How many did you have?
I had 3 boys on my own.
Okay. And then she had 4?
She had 2, and then they got
had
married
2
and
together?
they had 2.
All right.
There's nothing you can say negative about him when it comes to being a
Good.
father. With the exception of my husband, he's the best.
All right. Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I'm all right
Yeah,
as a father.
yes, sir. I think you are too. So it's hurtful to be here, but here we are. We gave my mother, my sisters and I, gave my mother a phenomenal woman celebration. We wanted to do that to show her that we cared about her
Can
while
I see
she's
it?
still here. Yes, my sister made this. And
Phenomenal
everyone
woman.
took home
Does
a
it
cake.
have Maya Angelou's
Yes. Yes.
poem in it?
Yes.
Phenomenal woman. All right.
And after the event was over with, for whatever reason, they wanted to go to a club afterwards. Now, we kind of felt the hotel had 3 bars. You can kind of stay in the hotel, drink all you want, crawl up the stairs. No one was going to pull you over for anything, you know? But they didn't want to do that. They wanted to go across the street, and they wanted to drive across the street. So I'm a very overprotective, in people's business a lot person. And
At least you admit it.
I do that. And
Otherwise
I couldn't
known
get any
as
sleep.
nosy.
Yes.
All right.
I'd rather say I'm curious. I'm interested in what's going on with your life so that I can step in and set it
If
straight.
that makes you feel better. Go ahead.
About 2, 3, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, I heard my daughter in the hallway. She was going into Kevin's room to get something, I don't know what, and I said, "Where's Kevin?" And she turned around, looked at me, and she said, "He's in jail." And I thought I was going to pass out. I said, "For what? This is supposed to be my mother's event. Why is he in jail?" She said, "For drunk driving," and went on to her room because she's divorced.
Defendant Kevin Russell is being sued by his former mother-in-law, who claims she was forced to bail Kevin out of jail after he was arrested for drunk driving.
Let me allow him to give a little background before we get into the bail money that you're suing for.
Like she said, you know, I was very respectful to the family. I never was disrespectful. I always tried to do my part. And like she also said, she was somewhat the stereotypical mother-in-law, you know, always in the midst of things and always, you know, had her opinion, and her opinion was heard a lot. So, so you know, it caused some strain in our relationship a little bit, but for the most part, you know, it was good. And like she stated, after the appreciation dinner, we all wanted to go out to the club. The clubs in the hotel, they weren't really our speed. So we wanted to go. They heard it was a club across the street, so we all went over there. All the young folks went over there.
I'm with her though. Why couldn't you all just walk across the street?
It's like a major highway right there.
Oh, it's a highway.
Yeah, so we don't want to just
She's
cross.
trying to have you knocked off. Oh, just walk across the street. You don't need a car for that. Just
It's US 30 in Maryville. There's stoplights.
US whatever, man. That's a highway.
If they
So
had
I'm
walked
with you. I
together,
don't
they
walk
would have been
across no
okay.
highway either, Doc. Particularly if my mother-in-law told me to do it. So, tell me how you were jailed.
So I wanted to go get me some White Castle. So I had a family member in the car. I'm focused on White Castle, before I lay it down. So I'm driving.
Soak up some of that liquor, right?
So I'm driving and the family member starts throwing up in my car.
Oh my goodness.
I freaked out. I'm trying to hurry up. He's throwing up.
Yeah.
I freaked out. I made a left turn without using a turn signal. I got pulled over. The whole time while the police are interrogating me, they see the family member over there still throwing up. So they could barely watch it. They smell alcohol on my breath, in which I take full responsibility for. I don't blame that on anybody. That's nobody's fault but my own. I understand that the family member was very intoxicated, and they wanted to take him in for public intoxication. But we were right down the street from the hotel. I convinced them that he could walk to the hotel.
Cross that freeway.
At this point, we were on the other side of the freeway, so he was safe enough, safety first. So they let him go to walk to the hotel, and they hauled me off to jail. I was settled to sit there and go before the judge because this is my first time ever getting in trouble like that. So to my surprise, I got bailed out. The family member crying because they know that if he hadn't have been vomiting.
Did you agree to repay anyone?
Yes, I did agree to repay
Miss Jones?
Mrs. Jones for bailing me out. I agreed to pay $60 a week. I paid the $60 a week. I ended up paying $120. Shortly after that, I got laid off from my job. And during that time, my child support gets behind, and I let them know that I was laid off. I wasn't just
dodging them.
All
right, ma'am. Did he tell you he was laid off?
No, and he was dodging me. He was dodging me. What he's not explaining is that we were 3 hours away from Fort Wayne. If my daughter had been anywhere and they had left her in a jail, it was going to be ugly. I'm not going to leave Kevin anywhere. He's coming home with us. And so we gathered up money. We didn't have it all. We piecemealed money together to get this, and we paid back everyone that gave us the money because we promised them we would. While the family member is slobbing and crying on him and stuff, which was another story. He said, no problem. Now, I didn't know Kevin was laid off until my daughter told me Kevin was laid off. And then the response, I know I owe you, I'll get it when I can. Now you done made me mad.
No, that's not the case.
Now you done made me mad.
That's not the case. I never was disrespectful. My mother told me to respect my elders. But what I told her was that I am well aware of the money that I owe you, and that when I'm able to pay it, I will.
That's what he said.
That's what I put in there.
That's
Just
not
like
disrespectful. You want to speak, sir?
Well, Your Honor, and after that incident, he started sending us money orders. And he sent us money orders for $25. But the thing that got me is
How
the
many
fact...
for 25?
Two, and he sent them in March of this year.
And then the thing about it, see, he had the agreement with my wife, but he tried to play me and put my name on the money order.
Let's see. Well,
the reason I put his name on the money order is because he's the one who signed for it.
all right, the good news is he acknowledged that he owed,
Yes.
and he has made some efforts to pay. I'm not going to take anything from his character.
I wouldn't either.
I will order him to pay, and then compliment you on the way you lead your family and the way that you
Thank you.
judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you. I love Kevin. I think think Kevin is a wonderful father and a wonderful person, and I am extremely glad, my husband and I both, that this is behind us.
I never meant to disrespect anybody or try to play anybody.